I'm Gary Gatewood, president and co-founder of the Dank Brothers. We're an indoor Tier 2 grow operation in Portland, Oregon. I recognize that we've been prosecuted and persecuted, more than any other segment of society, and with legalization, we also had the least amount of resources to take advantage of business opportunities that are out there. So I had the opportunity to do that. Our investor list is we're not quite majority minority owned, and that wasn't the focus, but it was just to make sure we had some representation. It just so happened that I know enough people that they start writing checks, right? So, also in terms of our employees, when you go back, you see we're pretty diverse. We have young, old, men, women, black, white. We're diverse, and that's to be celebrated. There's this thing going around right now with our current administration that somehow diversity is a bad word, but we celebrate it because this is the only planet we live on, and none of us are going anywhere. So we have to start working together, and we have to start trusting each other and valuing each other's participation. I value someone else's culture, Asian culture, Latino culture. All these cultures have their own special qualities, and when you blend them in together, something special happens. And that's true in the cannabis industry. I've been to cannabis events here in Oregon where the only two people of color were me and the DJ. So I was happy to see that one diversity thing and see how many people of color are actually in business here, because it was eye-opening. I was happy to see that. It made me happy. Yeah. Over a century of propaganda will shape your mind, believe it or not. There's studies that show, subliminal advertising and, constant messaging will shape how you view things. And my mom was no different, right? I had to educate her. For years, she would go back to my family. I was originally born in Des Moines, Iowa, but I grew up in LA. She'd go back to my family back there, family reunions, and Gary's making a movie. Gary's making another movie. Gary is making commercials and music videos, and she was so proud of Gary's career. And then when I told her I was in the weed business, she understood it's legal, but she went back for another family reunion. I'm like, did you tell anybody what I do? She's like, no, I didn't tell anybody. And so, so there's still that going on now. She's been here, she's seen what I do, she's come to my house, and I've shown her. She's had trouble sleeping sometimes, and I'm trying to tell her, Mom, smoke a little weed and put in some Johnny Mathis and eat something and then sleep through the night, right? She still won't do it. So, she'll get there or she won't. That's just kind of how it goes. Some people get it and some people don't. But she doesn't view me she doesn't give me any grief about it. She knows it's a business. It's a legal business. She's proud of me for doing it. But she's just not announcing it from the top of any rooftops anytime soon.
I'm Sheena Hickerson. I'm the Director of Retail for Lucky Lion. Really, I get a lot of joy out of helping people medically, more so than I do recreationally, because I know that there's a huge difference there. And since I've had so much medical success with my product, with what I've been doing with cannabis with myself, I've been able to help other people, guide them that way as well. I think people consistently think that everyone that works in the industry, whether it's medical or recreational, they look at us as a bunch of stoners, just like the movie Half Baked. And you think of that typical Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle people where they're just doing bong rips and smoking blunts all day, and there's nothing about it that can help them. What I've seen change is as even with recreational, people are learning more and more about it. So they're getting less focused on what THC percentages are. They're looking at the terpenes. They're starting to understand that different terpenes and CBD working together with THC is a lot better for them medically. We're seeing people who have never ever wanted to use any kind of cannabis products, who don't want to use Xanax or something like that. They want to use something where they can still be a functional person, come in and start to ask for things like, hey, what's a CBD product? What should I be looking for? What helps me sleep? What helps me with anxiety? That original stigma is slowly fading away. However, my home state of Tennessee, that's not necessarily the case. I work really hard with people to try to change that idea so that we're not all looked at as stoners. Businesses are predominantly owned by white people. And I'm half white, I'm half Asian, I was the only Asian kid in my high school. I understand that I can be kind of lumped into that, but at the same time, I don't see a lot of Asian people in our industry. I don't see a lot of minority-owned businesses. Last time I did the numbers on it, about 25% of businesses in the industry are either minority or women-owned. That number needs to be higher. That doesn't. If you look at the number of people percentage-wise that are in jail for cannabis, it's astronomically high when it comes to minorities. I think the biggest challenge we have to overcome, aside from the stigmas which we're working on, is there's so many people who are in jail currently or have something on their record because of marijuana and cannabis products that I really want to see that get changed. I know that there are organizations that are working on that actively. Cities are changing people's, they're dropping that off their record. I want to see that happen at a federal level. We have thousands and thousands of people who would just not be in jail right now if we could drop that. When they legalize everything federally, we're going to see a huge change across the country just in the arrest rate. We've proven time and time again, the numbers prove that the war on drugs is asinine and it's completely too expensive and really irresponsible usage of our tax dollars. And I really want to see that just kind of go away. We're starting to see these people who are in the middle of the country, in the heartland states, really open up and change their perspective on it. I can just use my cannabis, I can use a fika oil in the morning or a tincture, and I'm fine and I'm still fully functional as an adult, and I'm successful. I think that's the big thing to show people. We're not all running around in our pajamas, smoking a bowl and selling stuff to people who are dressed similarly, behaving similarly. That isn't the case. Make the pharmaceutical companies reevaluate the way they're pricing all their products by offering a product that can help with alleviate symptoms of different diseases and illnesses, and do it in a way that if we put a hurting on them financially, then they'll change everything. And I think our industry can do that across the board.